Okay, so I never thought I'd have the courage to do this. I'm not sure I'm going to post this, but I'm going to record it. I'm going to try to put myself out there because that's how fucking mad I am and how much I really think some of the things inside my head need to be said. So anybody who knows me or has any contact with me on any of social media knows how much I hate Donald Trump. The Trump administration, the Trump family, the Trump name, the Trump brand, anything and everything he stands for. But I've put up with 4 years, over 4 years actually, of his narcissistic, sicko, hatred, anger mongering, the same stuff. And so I've been trolled a lot when I post or comment in blogs or whatever. And instead of wasting my time responding to these people whose minds aren't going to be changed anyway, I'm going to try and appeal to anyone who just might not know enough about the basics to care enough to listen to the back and forth, because it's really disturbing and it's frustrating and upsetting, and who wants to start their day with that, and who wants to even add any of that stress to their day if you can easily shut it out and you live an otherwise really nice or calm or busy or whatever kind of life. Like, who needs that? Who needs that? Okay, so you know who needs that? We all need to listen now. Here's the deal. Aside from the fact that none of us want to hear his voice for another 4 years, none of us want to turn on the news or the television, hear that voice, see that orange face, there's a lot at stake. So even if you're pro-life, and by the way, I totally respect, I grew up in a family, my dad's a Republican, I mean, he's voted both ways, but he's fiscal conservative, leaning liberal on some values, but he's kind of a chauvinist. He's a little old school. So I get it, I get it. I come from my parents are both academics, very smart people. My dad was super successful, businessman, really hard worker. But when I was growing up in my home, I was pretty much, two things were expected of me, which, by the way, I fell short a lot. So I'm not trying to pretend to be something I'm not. Tell the truth and be a good person. Those were the two things that I was told to do. There was pretty much anything over that was a bonus, but so it took a while for that to sink into my head, what that really meant to my dad, what he really was trying to say and how important that was. And of course, under that subtext is stuff like integrity and keeping your word, being on time, working hard. And so, I broke it down to, over a period of time, being part of the solution, not part of the problem. So that's sucking air out of the room, try and contribute to something. So fast forward, and here I am, in 4 years of not even really being able to articulate exactly why I'm so disturbed and upset about absolutely everything that comes out of that side. What I have figured out is this, that it really doesn't matter if you're pro-life or you're pro-choice. It doesn't matter if none of us want to pay more taxes. None of us think that people, who can help themselves, should be getting a free ride. None of us think that violence is a good thing. None of us think that murdering or breaking the law are things that should be, acceptable. I would pretty much think that's the norm. But here's what is at stake. So what's at stake is we don't even know what the truth is anymore. I know what my truth is, and I know what's important to me, and that goes back to being a good person and telling the truth. But there's a lot of people who actually just are so confused and befuddled, if that's a word, with the amount of bullshit that's coming out of the Trump administration and all of the people who are marching behind him. So they're in so deep, they don't really even know. And, it's not about watching Fox News, because yes, that will give you one point of view only. But if you're not intellectually curious and you aren't asking questions to understand how things work, why they work the way they do, and what are the consequences of things going either way, then it really doesn't matter, because if you don't know how it's going to affect you personally, why should it bother you? Really? Because it's really just a bunch of noise. And that's what it is. He has stirred the pot. There's such a shit storm going on every single day, every hour of every day, that we're immune to it. Like, nobody even knows what that stuff means anymore. So what's the truth? Well, for me, what the truth is I don't have any kids. So ultimately, when I'm gone, like, I don't have to worry about my kids living in this world with no regulations on water or the air or toxins, or even so, the right's going to throw at you stuff like, we don't like regulation. And well, we need regulation. People, we need regulation. We need babysitters. We need people who are in charge, adults who are in charge, who are actually going to follow some rules so that we can make sure that our water's safe to drink, our air is safe to breathe, that we're safe. So all this shit about the masks, I don't get it. You want to take away my freedom. I have to wear a fucking mask. Where were you people when seatbelts were invented? Why was that not such an outcry? And by the way, seatbelts only protect the person, the driver. They're not protecting everybody else on the road. So why doesn't that upset you? And why doesn't it upset you that you have to get a prescription from a doctor to get a narcotic? Jesus, I love narcotics. Let's make narcotics. My freedoms are affected. I want narcotics. And why should a doctor have to see what's going on with me to prescribe them? That's just fucking crazy, right? Yes, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's how crazy this is. Over 200,000 Americans are dead. 100% Donald Trump's fault. We could have looked at this as a really horrible time, like for the first 6,500 people in the first month. But instead of locking down the house and putting some rules in place, making some people pissed off and uncomfortable for a little piece of time, he decided to point fingers, delay, deny. And here we are with 200,000 plus Americans. Now, okay, you're going to say maybe it's not 200,000. These people had pre-existing conditions, and, that they wouldn't be dead without that. Well, that's fucking stupid. That is stupid. And I'm going to tell you why. They had diabetes anyway. And that's like saying, okay, you had diabetes and then you got COVID and you died. That should not be a COVID death. Well, that's dumb, because that would be like saying every person with COVID who's walking down the street and gets hit by a car would have died anyway from diabetes. Like, come on, people. We're smarter than this. We're smarter than this. Just ask some basic questions and know when you're being lied to. We know the truth when we see it. We feel that. That's important. The truth is really important. It's not even about which side you're on. It doesn't matter anymore. We need the truth. This isn't hard to figure out. We need to get him out of office. We need to take the Senate. We need to educate ourselves. There's this great podcast that's all Republicans, The Lincoln Project. And it's these really smart guys who have been around for a long time, who are intellectually curious, and they're asking questions and answering questions to get out information that needs to be heard so that we can go and make an informed decision. There is no excuse for anyone who's 18 years old not to vote. That just blows my mind, okay? All right, rant over for the day. Will I post this? I don't know. I hope so.